Hey crafters, Rix here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do one of these full-size image transfers. Very quick, very easy. Let's get right into it. Okay, what I've done is I've generated an image of Iron Man using the AI found at ideogram.ai, and well, I had a fuss with it for a while, but that was the best I can get, so I'm going to stick with that. Printed it with my laser printer, my Hewlett-Packard color laser jet. At this moment, what I'm choosing to do to make life really easy is I'm going to take this Krylon crystal clear and I'm going to spray my printed image, and that is going to allow me to use a whole lot of Mod Podge, really wet, all over the surface of the board, and I won't have to worry about that wetness affecting my image. I just think it's cheap insurance to do it this way. So I'm just going to give it a quick spray here. Get my glasses out of the way. I hate to get that sprayed on. Now, if you use Krylon crystal clear as I'm using here, you do not want to use Liquitex or any other kind of gel medium. Don't use the gel medium. The acrylic medium affects the acrylic spray and you're going to smear it. So don't use that. Use something like Mod Podge. It has no effect on the acrylic spray. Alright. Now it doesn't take very long for it to dry. I'll give it a couple of minutes or so and it'll be ready to go. So I'll just set this aside. It looks like I got it pretty well coated. We'll move that over here. Okay, by the way, it's almost dry. So I got this balsa wood here. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use, let's see, Mod Podge matte. I'm going to use the matted because I'm going to use it as a glue. Now, whenever you're making a large size transfer, you always risk having spots missing from the transfer, because when you're trying to coat the whole thing with your glue, areas may dry too fast or you may miss some spots. The way to get around that is to use a lot of glue, but then when you do that, it's so moist that you'll wrinkle the paper really bad, or you could even smear your toner that's printed on the transfer paper. And this is why I chose to spray it first, because now I could freely use plenty of Mod Podge so that I could get really good coverage, but at the same time not worry too much about missing spots or wrinkling the paper too badly. And so that's the advantage of why I choose to pre-spray my image, whereas before I used to not do that. But then you have to have everything else so perfect. Now I don't have to be so perfect. I could just get in here and just slosh a whole bunch of Mod Podge around. Make sure you protect your table surface because you're going to get kind of messy here. But this stuff goes on really wet, so the chances of it drying on you too quickly is much lower when you use plenty of it. Of course, I don't want to go too crazy. You're going to get all kinds of ooze out. You want some ooze out because that lets you know you have plenty on there, but it can get really messy if you put too much on there. But see, I got plenty of glue on here, so the likelihood of me missing any spots has been reduced greatly. There's some hard bits. I'm going to get those off. You don't want those little hard bits. They'll just cause you all kinds of issues. Alright, so I believe I got full coverage here. Okay. And Mod Podge doesn't dry that fast, so it's going to give me plenty of time to fuss with this a little bit. And a little bit of housekeeping here. Okay. Now let me move that over to the side for a second. I want to get this cleaned off. And I'll show you why, because I'm going to put my paper on here, and I don't want glue to get on the other side, because it's a lot easier for me to flip this around and to place it on here than the other way around. This way, see, I could see that I'm getting the whole image. Now I'm going to press. Okay. Then carefully lift it, flip it over, and getting my little protective plastic thing here. I'm going to lay that on there, and then I'm going to start rolling. I want to get good contact. Now, if you're wondering, if you haven't watched my other videos, shame, but you'll find that I use this plastic because if there's any ooze out, the ooze out won't get on my Brayer roller here, and then I won't end up smearing it or rolling that glue on the back of the paper. You don't want any Mod Podge or glue on this side of the paper. This needs to be nice and clean so the moisture that we're going to use to release this will be able to soak in. Okay, so now that I've initially put this on here, now I can see there's a whole lot of stuff wanting to come out, so I put the plastic back on there just to make sure it doesn't get on my roller. You want to make sure you get good contact. You can see that. You want 100% good contact. Now, if I did not protect it with this spray, and I'm pushing all this glue around underneath, you can see the glue just moving underneath, it would be taking that image and the colors, and it would start smearing those colors underneath, and that's not good either. So if you want to use a lot of glue like I am to make sure you got 100% coverage, especially doing these big transfers, and you want to be able to keep playing with it and fussing with it until you feel comfortable that you've got good coverage, then protect it first with a spray, some kind of a clear coat spray, and then you know that, hey, you can do all this crazy stuff to it and not worry about it smearing the image because it's nice and protected with the clear coat. All right, now I have this really nicely pressed. And you can see, look at all that ooze out that came out there. And you see how I'm sitting here and I'm wiping up all this glue, and notice no color is coming off because I pre-sprayed it. And that's what you want, okay? Once I experimented and figured that part out, it has made my transfer so much safer and easier to do than before. And you don't have to be like making sure you have a very thin coat. Just put as much as you want on there because it's not Not going to hurt it. And then another thing is let it dry. Just let it dry completely. Don't do anything until this is 100% dry.
3 hours later.
All right, I'm back. It's been a few hours since I started this morning, and it's now the afternoon, so don't have to wait overnight. Just wait for this thing to dry. This thing looks really dry. Now, let's just see how this comes out here. This paper is designed make it easy to peel off the paper backing rather than the usual wet and doing all this rubbing. That's just too much work. So all you do is take like a wet sponge, like I have here, a sponge brush, and I'm applying water. Okay, I've read a comment once where the person says, "What are you applying on the back of the paper with your brush?" It's water. Okay, so you just want that water to soak into the paper because it's going to allow us to release it by easily peeling it off. And that's the beauty about using this compared to the old way of doing things. And I really like it because it just allows you to do so many things. I make t-shirts and stuff with transfers on it, and it goes through many washes now that I figured out how to make it more permanent. If you haven't seen those videos, you should check it out if you're interested in doing t-shirt transfers. Okay. Alright, so I got that water soaking in there. Give it a minute to soak in, and then get yourself a dry, clean paper towel. We're not going to dry this, but we are going to just take up the excess because wet paper tends to tear real easy. And if you take up the excess, it has a little more strength so that you can peel this off in 1 or 2 pills, and it's great that way. So I just lay this on and I go like this just to take up the excess moisture. That's it. I don't want to dry it because then that kind of defeats the purpose. Then find a corner and start peeling. All right, that's a fantastic transfer right there. Look at that. Isn't that cool? And it looks like I got it all with the exception of right on the edge. I missed the edge with my glue and my pressing. So right there, a little bit right there. But other than that, everything else, look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, that's for my office. I put it on my bookcase. All right, so then, once you're done with that, it came out really good. If you want to, you can protect it with the same stuff that you used to protect the image from smearing. You can also protect it so that it lasts for, years and years. And so just give it a nice little shine to it and everything, There it is. It'll look really nice. There we go. All right, and it's all finished. We'll just let it dry and see how nice and shiny it is and everything. Look at that. You can see it in the light there. All right. Okay. Well, fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Click the notification bell so you'll be informed of my upcoming videos. And of course, I'll see you again in the next video. Thanks again. Bye.